The Lloyd's List Shipping Podcast. Betting centers are an iconic part of Japan's baseball-loving culture and found everywhere in the country as entertainment facilities. For Takaya Soga, the past year has felt like being in one of those places every day, tirelessly swinging at an endless stream of baseballs coming his way.
It is like a batting center. So many balls are coming, and so fast balls coming. Ohtani can hit it, but I can't do that.
Ohtani is a Japanese professional baseball player for the Los Angeles Dodgers, known for being a talented two-way player that can play both as a pitcher and hitter. He was named the American League's most valuable player in 2021. But Soga, the president and chief executive of NYK Line, one of the largest shipping and logistics groups in the world, is not stealing time to practice baseball. The balls are a metaphor for a string of surprising events that have had a significant impact on the industries where his company operates, from the war in Ukraine to the Panama Canal drought, and then to the Red Sea crisis. You name it.
And all those things are quite unexpected matters. So therefore, really every day, once something happens, then try to resolve it. Then every day continues like that. So therefore, frankly speaking, no enough time to consider our, strategies review or others. That is 1 year.
Just months after Soga was promoted from chief financial officer to the top seat, the NYK chartered car carrier Galaxy Leader became the first merchant ship to be hijacked by the Houthis in Yemen last November. The ship remains stranded off in an area in the Red Sea controlled by the Yemeni militia group, according to vessel tracking data.
Still, that was that is in the same situation. So therefore, I'm very concerned about crew members, their health and also life itself. But no changes in terms of the status itself. But that is as a starting point. And after that, NYK's ship never affected in terms of the attack from the Yemen side. But as you know, a lot of the international commercial ships are aimed by the Yemen side, and some of them really damaged. And also the 3 or 4 crew members killed, actually. During that period, even now, NYK never allow any ships to go into that areas. So therefore, all the ships are now trying to go into Good Hope.
For now, trade dislocations and rerouting are broadly beneficial for merchant shipping, with length and distance soaking up available capacity and Boeing rates. This is most visible in containers. But not every segment enjoys the same momentum. In the still severely undertonnaged car carrier market, for example, it's a slightly different story.
As I mentioned, additional cost for such a longer routing, that cost is shared with customers. So therefore, our cost is quite minimal in that case. But total revenue side, particularly for the car carrier business, basically it is 20 days longer than Red Sea. So therefore, if the one voyage between Europe and Asia, it is almost 6 days or 70 days. That is normal. But now one way 20 days plus, it means that 40 days plus for the round voyage, right? So 70 plus 40, so 110 days for the one voyage. In that case, capacity which we can load is getting less. So therefore, some percentages of that less efficiency would be given to our influence on the revenue side.
Before the Red Sea crisis, NYK also shared most Russia-related operations, except for LNG shipping from NYK Line to Japan, which has government approval. Soga acknowledges the Ukraine and Red Sea events were unexpected and impactful. Meanwhile, the Taiwan Strait is tagged as the next potential flashpoint, possibly triggering even more profound convulsions. But Soga does not see geopolitics as shipping's biggest challenge over the next 10 years, even as more black swans and grey rhinos entered discussions from boardrooms to industry forums amid increasingly turbulent global conditions.
In the history, also we had very similar, simulations, like Hormuz Canal, Persian areas. If it is suspended, then what we should do, or that type of the simulation always we did. And now, Russia-Ukraine or Red Sea, it is of course unexpected, but we have the way, alternative way, to keep our business itself. And now, like a China issue or Taiwan issues, that is also listed as a next possibility. But of course, we will consider as through our simulation about that, how to continue our business. That is, of course, not so easy, but historically, we had several experience and also the knowledge about that. So therefore, once it happens, then how to react, that is not so big problem for us.
The maritime industry is facing a pivotal challenge: decarbonising the existing fleet. To address this, Lloyd's Register has been evaluating what this means for shipping stakeholders. Lloyd's Register's Engine Retrofit Report provides a comprehensive overview of fleet and technology readiness to transition to alternative fuels, including methanol and ammonia. This report considers the primary regulatory drivers, shipyard retrofit capacity and capability, as well as the importance of human factors and training. You can download the report at www.lr.org/ERR.
Now, Soga has been with NYK for 40 years, and the company itself is nearing 140 years old, having lived through 2 world wars. So it makes sense for him to say that. However, today's geopolitical rifts reflect something bigger, which Soga also admitted in his New Year message to all NYK staff in January. Soga warned of increasingly confusing global trends beyond just heightened geopolitical risks shown in the Ukraine war and the Middle East tensions. Divisions are occurring everywhere worldwide, and the international order established since the end of Cold War is no longer sustainable, he said. Now, the problem for NYK is that the increasingly polarized world could risk derailing the global decarbonization agenda, around which the Japanese giant has built a big part of its growth strategy. Longer detours and the abandonment of slow steaming to compensate for time delays have already led to an increase in carbon emissions from ships. From a more macro view, globalization's retreat amid great power competition means the world is replacing a system pursuit of integrated, efficient trade and supply chains with a more fragmented, complex, and expensive one chanting national security. This runs counter to the global cooperation and the resource allocation needed to achieve decarbonization. And you have to admit that expecting the world's top 2 emitters, China and the US, to vigorously confront each other in the political and economic arenas, while at the same time happily dancing together on climate cooperation, does sound a bit unrealistic. Nevertheless, NYK and some like-minded firms are still determined to become frontrunners on the road to the green transition, beginning to tilt their strategic focus and resources in that direction. In its latest midterm management plan, NYK proposed to invest nearly 1.2 trillion yen, which is more than $7 billion by 2026, to ensure further stable shareholder returns. This is equivalent to about 70% of the company's total revenue in the fiscal year before the pandemic. More than half of that amount is earmarked to develop new markets, businesses, technologies, and services. Of the 13 items listed in those areas, at least 10 are directly related to decarbonization, including renewable energy transport, hydrogen and ammonia value chains, and most importantly, carbon neutral shipping. NYK sees good potential for ammonia as clean fuel because of its scalable production globally.
Why we are now continue to say ammonia, is because of mass production potentiality. So still green methanol will be limited in terms of the mass production in the future. And a lot of the shipping lines or a lot of the container ships are now saying that this is methanol ready or something like that. Whether that volume of the demands, green methanol, can be covered at this moment or even the next decades, that is a big question mark. At the same time, ammonia, at this moment, no ammonia is produced for the ship use. That is true. So therefore, everything will start from now on. But as you know, almost every country in the world, ammonia producing factories located. Of course, at this moment, that is gray ammonia, not blue, not green, but at least the factory or facility itself is available in the world. And once they want to make blue or green ammonia, of course, some steps or process of production should be changed. Maybe they need to have a very green energy or green electricity must be required or something like that. But some changes, then they can make green ammonia or blue ammonia. Then facility and factories are located. So therefore, if we compare the blue methanol and the green ammonia and green methanol, which is much better to make mass production, I think still the ammonia is a little bit superior. Movement will start. NYK wants to be a kind of the trigger pointer type of the. So how to make a trigger? That is still question mark, and also that we are discussing about that. But really, somebody trigger, then some move will start. But it will take a long time to finalize the supply chain. Of course, production and also supply chain, it will take a long time. I think almost 10 years to see the very final pictures.
Meanwhile, as a full supply chain logistics provider moving everything from raw materials to finished products, NYK is also targeting new demand patterns created by the energy transition. Soga cites a recent example of a Japanese power company wanting to reduce coal usage and increase ammonia feeds, which NYK will transport. Additionally, CO2 captured after electricity generation will be shipped by NYK to the next carbon capture and storage area.
So that a lot of the example like that, but new energy can create a new supply chain for us. That is the next opportunities for us to get growth.
But amid all the uncertainties, is NYK betting too much on decarbonization? Whether the International Maritime Organization can deliver a universal carbon pricing mechanism to spur the switch to clean fuel is an often debated issue. And from a broader view, even without the West China competition inviting trouble, the US itself could set back global climate migration efforts. Donald Trump, a leading contender to be the next US president, has already called for repealing the Inflation Reduction Act, a signature Biden climate policy. Ultimately, costs could be the decisive factor determining the pace of decarbonization. New fuels are undoubtedly far pricier than their fossil predecessors, and they require huge investments. A divided world that shifts focus from efficiency to security will not make it any cheaper.
I think that is really the real risk for us. I admit that. If I may say more, decarbonization, a lot of investment, and also all of the parts or materials price increasing, inflation as you mentioned, and for Japanese companies, Japanese yen depreciation, a lot of the cost increase factors are surrounding here. Of course, NYK may pay such additional cost, but that must be shifted to the industry or customers, or whether they can willingly pay back to us. That is quite a question mark. But this is happening every sectors, not only shipping, but also like a steel company against car manufacturers, materials are increasing. All those costs related to the decarbonization, it's huge, big amount if we sum up. Whether the society can pay that, that is my question basically. So that's why this is quite a big challenge for not only shipping lines, but also the society itself. Whether the NYK needs to get back to the normal position, no more decarbonization, that never happened. We have to go right on this trend, even though Mr. Trump or any other guys are becoming a president, and they show that a little bit different policy or different strategy, but the trend in the world or in the society never changed. We have to see those situations quite long term. It is not 4 years, 5 years. It is too short. We have to see the issue for the more long run. And of course, at this moment, cost factors is quite a big part for us, but that is also the 4 or 5 years time. If we see the issue for the 20 years, 30 years, cost increase timing, decrease timing, a lot of cost happens. So therefore, still we need to keep this way.
For Soga and the like-minded business leaders, this is perhaps one of few campuses available as the world sails into today's uncharted waters. The hope is that NYK has the agility and the flexibility to weather storms, with its commitment to keep investing in existing business in the various other sectors it is involved in or seeking to enter, ranging from developing autonomous ships to even launching satellites and spaceships on the sea.
Our purpose, mission, that is bring value to life. So our business or our actions, everything must be related to the people's happiness.
Of course, having a nice slogan does not mean the company can ignore commercial realities, but it at least provides NYK a great purpose to strive towards creating a better world. And decarbonization is clearly one important piece of that puzzle. I'm Tzu-Chen Shen, the APEC editor of Lloyd's List. Thank you very much for listening.